Hi, it's Jill from Jilly Bean Studio. Welcome to the channel where I share junk journaling and art journaling, projects, and ideas. In today's video, I am going to share the Fodder School 4 projects that I completed for the first half of Fodder School. This is my first experience. I am a newbie, as they say, and I really enjoyed taking on Fodder School this year as a personal goal. I'll leave all the information below to Wendy Sulganic and Willa Wanders in the description box below, and the link to all the Fodder School for YouTube hops so you can check out all the different creative ways everybody approached the projects. So if you're not familiar with Fodder School, it is a year-long online course. In the first part of the month, you make all of the collage fodder, learn all of the techniques, and then in the second part of the month, there are projects to use the fodder and a variety of different bonus lessons actually from not only the main instructor, but additional instructors in Fodder School will give you more ideas. So actually that was a big surprise to me. It is a really nice supportive community, and there's even Facebook groups so you can see others who are participating and get lots of ideas and share your ideas and examples. So I really was surprised at all the levels available in Fodder School. I really thought it was just going to be an art lesson at the beginning of the month and a project, and there really is so much more. The way I organized this old vintage cookbook was to set it up so that I had places to store the fodder and then places where I could organize the lesson materials. And to start out, the very first thing Fodder School has is called the October Fodder Challenge. I signed up for Fodder School almost a little late for this, so I only did one of the projects, The Sacred Heart, which I love doing by Carrie Smith Art. And I figure this little notebook might be helpful for some of the other lessons. Amanda Trout has these gorgeous painted leaves. I thought those might work in there. And Rebecca Chapman, and another instructor, has some really cute collage Polaroids. So definitely more to come. And the nice thing is it's an online course, so I can always circle back to that. I started with this color palette, which was another suggestion to guide you throughout the year. And I really like these tones, these sort of jewel tones. So I did that as my very first page in the notebook. Then I decided to store a lot of the fodder, the things that I dyed using various techniques or printed, or some of the things that stamps I made, and put them in these different pouches and containers. So this is for the first month, November, which was Jack Ravi's Alchemy of Memory journal. And again, I'll go through each project individually toward the middle of the video, but I just wanted to show you the notebook. Those prints, jelly prints, are from Sally Hurst's class, which was coasters. I love these. I didn't finish these last few. These are more of earth tones, and so many people made gorgeous coasters to give it gifts around the December holidays. I ended up making a ribbon journal, which I'll explain more about in a few. In the new year, Liz Constable, oh my goodness, what a lively and fun instructor she is. She taught us the techniques to make this ever-evolving fodder journal. I think I really poured my heart into that project. It was a bigger one than some of the other ones in my opinion, and I really loved it. And in February, these are the beautiful paper dolls that Angela Kennedy took us through step by step. I am not a person who's done a lot with faces, so she taught us how to draw the faces and mount the paper dolls, and a lot of also prints like these jelly prints for backgrounds. And then finally, in March, Lisa Young taught us the varied and many ways to use teabag materials, and this is an altered teabag accordion book. So much fun and so many projects. All of the materials you get, it is a wealth of information. You get a set of how to make the fodder, and then you also get a set of how to make the project. So really a wealth of materials. I was pleasantly surprised. I thought it would be good, but the quality and quantity is all there for you. So that is my little vintage cookbook binder that has turned into my Fodder School notebook. And I don't know, friends, it's really full. Not sure I'll get another, I don't know, half as Fodder School in it. We'll see if I need a second notebook. In the next part of the video, I'll take you step by step through the projects. So the first project was in November with Jack Ravi. He is an artist and bookbinder, and I think he does a lot with assemblage. He is out of I think he's from Scotland actually, or he's at least in Scotland now. He taught us so many different dyeing techniques with natural materials. And then the actual project for the Alchemy of Memory journal was a bound journal with a tin. So I stuck to the tin idea, but I ended up doing this little accordion book version for the first project instead of a bound journal. I really love it. There's a lot to this project in terms of not only the dyeing techniques, but also making some handmade stamps and doing printing, doing stitching. It was really quite in depth. And I have to say, the biggest part for me was very emotional because these are actually, well, this is my grandmother. This is my paternal grandmother, Anna, and it literally went to the heart of connecting art with something meaningful for me. It's my aunties and my grandmother in later years. And the one thing that really, I think, struck my heart throughout all of this in the most joyful way was I didn't know my grandmother. So through art, I felt a little closer to her and her memory. That's one from her younger days. And this is also my grandpa. So my dad's parents who I never met. And it was a beautiful tribute and a wonderful art project to connect family history and new art techniques. And everything simply feels handmade and homespun in this accordion journal to me. And Jack Ravi's teaching techniques are incredible. I absolutely loved it. And I thought when the first project popped up that I wasn't so sure about it because, again, for me, photographs are something I don't really work with, and this took me to a whole different way of thinking in my art. Loved it. The next class was by the collage artist Sally Hurst. She had us going on such an adventure with finding textures inside your home with objects, outside, exploring. And I'll tell you, sometimes the Fodder School techniques themselves, besides making the project, are absolutely incredible and expand your repertoire as a multimedia artist or as a crafter. You don't have to be an artist. Everything is very open and accessible, I found. So we did a lot with textures. The actual project, as I mentioned earlier, were coasters or frame coasters. And for whatever reason, it just, I don't know, it tickled my fancy to make a little ribbon book. I wasn't feeling the coasters, although I have to say, after seeing all the beautiful examples from other Fodder School participants in the Facebook group. They were gorgeous, and for many people, they were really nice holiday gifts. Also, there was a bonus lesson, and there was how to monogram your coasters. So again, Fodder School pleasantly surprised me, not only with the main lessons, but with some bonus lessons. So I did try some of those as well. And this one also has some meaning in the text that I put on about the ocean, and just some memory keeping I did. I do that a lot in my own art. I like to journal or jot a note or put in text in almost all my art. So I added that too. And then, friends, there is no good way to close this. I just kind of wrap it and squish it, but I really love it. And Sally is an amazing collage artist and really took me to a new place in terms of looking at printmaking. The next lesson was Liz Constable, and her lively classes had me smiling the entire month of January. I would love to have a cup of coffee or tea with Liz and just watch her create, because she's just an incredible cheerleader and guide. So this is the ever-evolving Fodder journal, and the idea is actually to use it as fodder, that it is equally a beautiful bound journal, but that you can also use it in future art projects. So Liz Constable is at Book Art Studios. I was trying to keep to a color palette that had some of the blues and greens and yellows and a splash of purple. I personally am drawn to ocean themes. I live in the United States, and I live on the New England coast. And while I'm not right by the coastline, I do appreciate it. So many different techniques in terms of painting paper, using inks, a little bit of fabric, stamping. I spent a lot of time on this project. She had us use really big, I guess you would say, sort of master or motherboards, and I tried to rein myself in a little bit in terms of the size to get it done, because I work full-time and I love art, but I was trying to make sure I had a personal goal of really trying to finish each month's project. So I tried to keep it in what I knew I could accomplish. And I'm really happy I followed through with this project. There's a little rip there. So Liz, by the way, showed us different techniques to actually make the fodder in this book more accessible by perforating. I didn't perforate the edges of any of mine. I did do that little rip. And right now I am content with keeping it as a book, but I know it is always there to use for future art projects. And again, there were plenty of bonus videos for other creators, and Liz herself added some bonus videos. This was so much fun. And then the binding technique. I love that binding technique. I think it adds that extra special touch. In February, another thing out of my comfort zone, again, working with photographs is not something I really did too much with until Jack Ravi's project, and now I'm very psyched for it. And this is the same with drawing faces. So Angela Kennedy took us through the process of making paper dolls. step by step. She is so calm in her instruction and very thorough, step by step, how to draw faces. I got to the point where I got really excited and I did make a couple copies. This is my altered book that I've been working in currently in March, and made a little print of one of the paper dolls here, obviously on the right. And that's so wonderful about Fodder School, because then you find them in your, or find use for them rather, in your journals. And by the way, as I was playing with the pages, I drew another one. I sort of almost saw a face in the paint on that page. And then I saw a bird shape on the journal page there. So I feel like I'm onto this like lost and found theme in my regular altered book journal that I've been working in, and I feel there's some more faces and paper dolls in my future. Also, wouldn't that be cute? I think this little ocean paper doll could end up in the Fodder, ever evolving Fodder journal if I keep it as a journal. So Angela had so many techniques for drawing the faces, and then also for making the backgrounds that we mounted the paper dolls on. So there, again, see, I keep wanting to put paper dolls in the Fodder journal, but I love the colors. All of the colors, that's the thing about making a color palette. They seem to just work with one another. So I loved making the backgrounds as well as the dolls for this. I completed 3. And again, the fun thing is that in Fodder School, everybody's projects turns out slightly different. And many people made tons of paper dolls or one paper doll. So it's really whatever your personal goals are and you have time to accomplish. The last project and the most current project is Lisa Young's project. This was a whole exploration of tea bags, tea bag dyeing, different, not papers actually dyeing the tea bag paper itself. I didn't know until I took Lisa's course, but you can buy tea bag paper separate. So I did end up buying a sheet of it. But then you can recycle and repurpose all your at-home tea bags, and I did lots of that as well. She taught us so many ways to then do art on the tea bags, different ways to ink and paint. I did some lettering here, and I used the first stanza from an Emily Dickinson poem, Hope is the Thing with Feathers. And all of that is using Lisa's technique of how to paint, believe it or not, with watercolor on tea bags. Then again, there were bonus lessons, and I loved Wendy Selganic's folk art flowers. I was inspired by her and Sarah Gardner's beautiful jelly prints and pops of pink. I did a little bit of drawing and made a tiny tea bag that Lisa showed us how to make, some stamping, and then Suzanne Randers added a bonus lesson on how to use botanicals with tea bags. So I did that on one of the tea bags in the center there, and also on the little tea bag pouches that we made to put the accordion journal in. So cute. The junk journaler in me had to also make a belly band to sort of hold it all together with the tea bag envelope. Loved it. And again, Lisa had so many different ways to show us how to use tea bags. I think I will never look at tea bags again the same. And I will use her techniques moving forward as well. So I'm very happy I accomplished every project in Fodder School for part 1. Set up the notebook so I have plenty more for future art projects. That is another joy of Fodder School. Learned so much, appreciated all the instructors, and I'm really excited for the next set of Fodder School. All of the projects look amazing. The instructors really take their time and are so supportive, thorough, and really just wonderful teachers. So thank you, Wendy at Willow Wanders. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by to see my little examples of Fodder School 4. And I look forward to chatting with you in the comments and sharing more Fodder School in the future.